Hello everyone, welcome back to the table where today I'm having a look at Big Boss from Wolfgang Kramer and Funko Games, who did provide me this to play it and review it for you. Now let's jump into roughly how the game plays and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings so you can try and work out if this is a game for you. In Big Boss you're going to be predominantly either buying or using industry cards. These are numbered to do with the numbered spaces around the board, and you're going to be using them to either found a new company or expand an existing one. Now, you're going to found these companies at the start of the game, setting them up, although they can't be within 3 spaces of another existing company, because that is when they start merging. We'll come on to that in a minute. When a new company is formed, its share value, is going to be set at 5, scoring you some money. But then you have the option to buy shares. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the company you've just founded, or later on you're expanding companies. It doesn't need to be in that either. But you've got some wonga and you might want to spend it on those shares because they're going to increase in value. Later on, whenever a company is expanded, either via one of those industry cards or a level card, which just plops something on a higher level, that's going to boost the value based on the height. So if it's 3 bits high, you're going to put it down, it's now the 4th highest bit, it's going to raise that company's share price by 4. Bagging you a load of money, but also meaning that stock is now worth more money. So if you've got a loads of those cards from buying them previously, they're going to be worth more at the end of the game. Or in a merger, because if 2 of those buildings around the track ever touch, they meet because someone has played the cards between them, well, they merge. The smaller one gets basically eaten up by the bigger one. The smaller one pays out a load of money based on how many shares you've got at that point, but they are then removed from the game. The bigger company then effectively takes the value of the smaller one and adds it to its current value. It's a super big company that the Big Boss has clearly been running, and now its shares are going to be worth a lot more. So some mergers are going to happen. You're going to try and get in on those shares early on, so then they increase in value. So on your turn, you are either going to be buying an industry or level card, or playing one, and therefore either expanding or founding a company, taking some money based on what you've done, and then potentially buying shares as well. And you go until there's no building pieces left. At that stage, whoever has the most money wins, and you are the Big Boss. So let's now go through the pros and cons and start with the production value. Ignoring the fact that it's quite hard to close the lid perfectly flat because of the way you've just got to cram all of the building pieces into the box, the production is pretty damn good. First of all, you've got a dual layered game board, and what that means is those building pieces aren't going to get knocked around as much. That's a really nice feature and does make the game feel that bit more premium, even if the board is not entirely sort of explosions of colour. It's got this sort of big artwork on here, but it's quite a black main board. But those dual layerness, just so the pieces, once you've built these buildings, they're not shuffling round loads. That's a really nice production feature. Also, those building pieces, well, they plop together really satisfyingly, and again, they lock together, making it really obvious where they are, and they're not going to get knocked around easier. And despite there being a lot of those just sort of slightly transparent black pieces, they look pretty nice actually when they're even just topped with one of the headquarter bits, or just on their own. They look really quite nice. And I was surprised at that because initially I didn't think much to them when I opened the box, but when we were playing, they did look nice. The cards themselves do a really nice job. They are shuffled nicely. It would, however, have been nice if the numbers of the cards, so let's say it says 52 in the top corner, it would have been really nice if that was then reversed and sort of flipped to the other corner for people the other side of the table, just to allow everyone to sort of not have to read upside down or whatever. But overall, the production value of Big Boss is solid. The gameplay is pretty fast in Big Boss because on your turn you're doing one of two things. You're either going to buy a card, which means your turn is very fast, buy a card, that's all you can do, or play a card. And that basically is just going to see you putting a building piece onto either that numbered place. Setting up the companies does take a little bit longer, but it's only putting like 5 blocks down instead of 1. Still pretty quick, and then gaining a bit of money, and you can be buying shares while the next person's going. So you can really keep that speed up around the table. That's going to be really good at the higher player counts of 6, but even at 2, it's nice that it's not long before your next turn. In fact, sometimes it's back to being your turn so quickly, you're still sat there thinking, oh, what am I doing on my turn? Even at like 3 or whatever when we played, I often found the other players had had their turn by the time I decided, oh, I want to play this card or try and buy that card. Now, depending on that player size, when you're getting to the higher player count, that market can change quite a bit between your turns. We did have in one play, in fact it was our first play of Big Boss, the market got a little stale. Now, there is no way to clear the market because those cards do need to be purchasable at some point. I do wish, however, there was a way, maybe every time a company is founded, or if someone has bought a level card, it just maybe refreshes that market. Something that doesn't mean the market's refreshing constantly, because that's admin, you don't want to do that. But we did find there was a time where none of the cards were really that good. And it did mean if someone bought a card, whatever came out the deck next was probably going to be better. And then the next person bought that card. The next person bought the new card that was unveiled. Then I'd buy the new card that was unveiled because they bought that. And it meant that that market was, well, pretty poor apart from the newly unlocked card. And it was almost, who's going to take the sort of the negative step of freeing up a bad space in a market for a good card to replace it? If there was just a system where every now and again those market cards got shuffled, even some of those market cards got shuffled back into the deck and new ones came out, it had just helped that sort of staleness not have happened, because it just had a little bit of a trough in the gameplay. The beginning, it's fast, it's fun, you're setting up these companies. In the middle, there's that bit where some of these cards aren't great. I don't know if I'm really wanting to buy them, but I can't play one of these at the moment. I'm going to have to. And then at the end, there's that real fun of, right, how do I get onto this big, get this company as big as possible to maximise my share prices? And while it is share prices, it is actually quite a fun experience. And when you're actually sitting around the table seeing these companies build up, you're like, I really wish I'd got in on that yellow venture earlier. Or, damn, the blue one's just about to be gobbled up. I've got a load of the blue shares. I wish I'd maybe gone for some purples. But hang on, I'm going to get a bumper payout here. I'm going to have a load of money now in the next few rounds to use. Yes! So it's got some peaks and troughs. I just wish that stale market couldn't happen. And I feel like it's going to happen, not in every game, but in some games where you've founded companies in just a way around the board that the cards coming out, in our case, it was like 50 to 57 were in the market. And it's like, none of these are great because none of them quite let us expand yet. If someone had got like the 50 and then the 51 would become viable, and it just meant there's a bit of a slowness to the middle, then otherwise a very quick game. So if you're someone that loves the choice in games of when to do something, that's what Big Boss is all about. When is the right time to buy that colour of share? Is it as soon as a company has been founded, but it could stay at 5? Or is it when it started moving already and you could maybe see some cards in your hand or in the market that are going to allow that company to A, expand, but B, merge with a smaller company? Can you be on the right side of the mergers? Can you get the right the right shares at the right prices? Well, it's a lot of fun trying to do that, even though I seem to suck at it because I cannot win this game. But there's some great choices there, and I think if you're looking for that style of game that's very quick round the table, well, Big Boss might be a game worth checking out for you. Please do let me know in the comment section below if you've played Big Boss, the original rule set, or this new updated one from Funko Games, or let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. And until next time, check out other news, reviews and such on the channel.